So as it relates to Baba, there were several key developments this week. First and foremost, Secretary Blinken met with President Xi Jinping. Blinken said the talks were candid and constructive, while Jinping acknowledged the two sides have also made progress and reached the agreement on some specific issues. This is very good, unquote. The talks continue with the possibility of Biden meeting Xi at the G20 in New Delhi in September. And as you saw in the clip, even Biden acknowledged we will meet in the near future. So near is probably September. Jack Ma is back in the picture at Alibaba, albeit behind the scenes. His restructuring plan is now mimicking the success seen by Mark Zuckerberg in his 230% turnaround of Meta in less than a year. You can see when he started cutting all the middle management and getting efficient, the stock turned around. That's exactly the message that Jack Ma has delivered to his lieutenants, and he's replaced many lieutenants with he basically brought the old band back together. The people who built the company are now back in the positions of leadership. So he held a group meeting with top company executives in May per this publication called Late Post. He suggested flattening out Taobao and Tmall's organizational charts by cutting all the middle managers. This is what Zuckerberg did to turn around Meta last year. The move echoes with what's happening in Silicon Valley giants like Meta. Number 3, Jack Ma is still the number 1 shareholder of Alibaba, and his position is very important to him. This week, he put 2 of his original co-founders in key roles in the company. First and foremost, most important in my view, Executive Vice Chairman Joseph Tsai, a longtime confidant of billionaire co-founder Jack Ma, will take Zhang's position as chairman of the board. Investors like him. He went to Yale. He worked in M&A. He gets it. He knows how to extract the value. And then Eddie Wu, who was also a co-founder, now chairman of Alibaba's core Taobao and Tmall online commerce divisions, will take over as chief executive of the $240 billion company. The good thing is that the new CEO and chairman are all co-founders of the company and are closest to Jack Ma. That means Jack Ma will remain the spiritual leader of Alibaba. Old Alibaba management back to the stage again. So Eddie Wu's appointment as CEO shouldn't come as a huge surprise. He co-founded Alibaba and played a key role both on technology development and monetization of Taobao and Alipay, which is the Chinese PayPal. Wall Street Journal, the shakeup could maintain the influence of Ma, who engineered the breakup of the e-commerce empire from afar while he traveled overseas for most of the year before the plan was unveiled. On Saturday, he was in his hometown of Hangzhou, where Alibaba is based, to attend an annual global mathematics competition he started in 2018 and chatted with the finalists. So he's showing up publicly. He's actively involved. This is all with the blessing of the government, or he wouldn't be there. If this was happening 2 years ago after his famous speech, he'd probably be afraid of getting arrested. The tide has shifted. The reshuffle indicates that Ma is returning, quote, to exercise more direct control, said Charlie Chai, and tech-focused analyst at research firm 86 Research. Tsai is well liked by investors, and his appointment should be seen as good news, said Wei Sing Ling, senior advisor for Asia technology stocks, blah, blah, blah. Zhang will continue to head up Alibaba's cloud computing unit, the second largest business by revenue after its domestic e-commerce unit, as the group bets on it for growth. Number 4, visible or invisible, Ma is back, and it is with the implicit blessing of the government. They need jobs and growth, and he knows how to create them. So here are pictures of him out in public, parading around. This is by design. The Communist Party wants his face out there as a reminder of China's business prowess and that the game is back on. This is a clear signaling message to the rest of the world. China is back. It may take the rest of the world a little while to figure it out, but as always, opinion will follow trend. As price moves, money will move back in. He was at the company's cloud business site talking with Daniel Zhang, who steps down from the major company to run the cloud, which was expected. And in recent days, Jack Ma appeared more often in the public site. 5, Zhang will remain CEO of the cloud computing business as it pushes towards a spin-off and eventual public listing. Cloud Intelligence Group is now full speed ahead on its spin-off plans, and we are approaching a crucial stage of the process. So it is the right time for me to dedicate my full attention and time to the business, said Zhao. Zhao's intentions to only focus on the cloud have now been some years in the making. In an interview with CNBC, Zhang said cloud computing will be the company's quote-unquote main business in the future. This is what we said 2 weeks ago, how he said that he believes the baby babas will be bigger than the whole company in the near future, meaning the cloud business will be worth more than $200 billion and change. Right now, it's not ascribed anything close to that value, but it will be as it's broken up and starts to perform. 6, Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba Group Holding, held an informal meeting with e-commerce executives in late May, advising them to refocus on Taobao. Alibaba has to, quote, go back to Taobao, go back to users, and go back to the internet, according to the report. Going back to Taobao means the platform will pivot from traffic flows to supporting marketing budgets for small and medium merchants from established brands on Tmall. Taobao, launched in 2003, was Alibaba's first consumer e-commerce platform. It achieved huge success in wooing small merchants online to defeat then rivals such as U.S. giant eBay, while Tmall, formerly known as Taobao Mall, was spun out in 2008 to fit Chinese consumer demand for brands. Alibaba employees who declined to be named as they were not authorized to speak publicly confirmed to the Post that the pivot towards small merchants has been taking place inside the business unit. For example, Alibaba has gradually scaled back subsidies on big-ticket items such as iPhones, but has increased incentives for products such as iPhone covers or ornaments, which are mainly sold by small businesses. This is huge because they're going back to what made them successful in the first place. Taobao and Tmall had a record 618 sales event this month, growing 14.8% year on year. Hat tip to Brendan Ahern. 8, U.S. dollar resumed its downtrend following the debt ceiling bid to safety, causing BABA to rebound in recent weeks. So while it doesn't feel like it, it did have a 17.5% rally in a few weeks, and now it's just checked back on this recent noise. But the trend, I believe, is upward, and this is in line with that mammoth sentiment indicator that we talked about. Once we get above this level, then it's off to the races. So we've just basically got to move. Looks like, where is this thing? Oh, that's the US dollar. So this top level here is about 120. Once we can break through that, it's going to be straight up. With owner's equivalent rent dropping off a cliff this month, June CPI to be reported in July ahead of the Fed meeting, we expect the Fed to be done and the dollar to weaken further. So this is awesome. Today, everyone looked at the 50 basis point hike by the Bank of England as a negative. We view it as a positive. Why? Because the interest rate differential is going to attract money out of the U.S. dollar, which is stopping hiking, and into the euro, into the pound, into emerging market currencies, and that's going to weaken the dollar. And why we're so confident that we feel that the Fed is done is owner's equivalent rent. And this will be the big month. Last month, we got headline down to 4.0. We thought we would get 3.9 or 3.8, but, 1/10 of one basis point or whatever. But this is an important chart that shows how changes in housing prices take about 18 months to show up in the CPI through what is called owner's equivalent rent, which in turn comprises about 1/3 of the CPI. Since housing prices have now been falling for the past 18 months, the OER component of CPI will become negative in coming months, thus subtracting a major portion of upward inflation pressure in the CPI. So watch that coming to a theater near you. We're looking for a 3 handle on headline inflation in this next print before the July Fed meeting. So early July, I think it's the second Tuesday of July, we'll get the CPI numbers. And that'll be it for the Fed. And then, what we would like to see is inflation stay in the 3s. We wouldn't be shocked to see inflation actually fall into the high 2s headline in coming months.